Hey everybody, today we're going to clone a ChatGPT app from GitHub. This video is for you if you're interested in building an app on ChatGPT and are looking for an easy way to get started. The best way to start is by copying another app that's already working, not by starting file by yourself. We've put together a fully functional, fun project which you can copy, start to modify immediately for free. In order to do this, you're going to need to know what is GitHub. You'll also need to know what is an IDE. Very quickly, GitHub is a simple tool which is used for version control. It keeps versions of your code so that you don't accidentally overwrite everything or make a bug which completely destroys your code. GitHub will allow you to go back in time and restore the old code. An IDE is just a place where you can modify files, whether that's through prompting or through manual coding. Today, we're going to be using Anti-Gravity from Google, but feel free to use any IDE that works with you. The first thing we're going to do is navigate to the GitHub that we've created at Layer 3 Labs. You can find the GitHub in the link in the description of this video, or you can navigate to GitHub and search for Layer 3 Labs and search for the repository called the Riddler. The Riddler is a fun, simple game that you can duplicate and start to make modifications to. Let's get started. I've now navigated into Anti-Gravity. If you don't have Anti-Gravity yet, you can just go on Google, search Anti-Gravity. This is what the logo looks like here, and you'll be able to download it for free. Let's go ahead and clone a repository. Basically, what this means is you're copying someone else's work, and it's so common they even have a button here for it. We'll go into Clone Repository, and here we will paste the URL of the Riddler. Again, the URL will be in the description of this video, or you can take a look at the screen and just copy it here. Here, we're going to need to know where you want to put this project. So you can make a folder on your computer. Let's make a new folder and call it GitHub Riddler and select that folder as the repository destination. Okay, great. On the left-hand side here in the Explorer, what you see are all the files that are in this project. Now, we'll do a separate video on explaining what each of these files are, but for now, what you have to understand is that these files make up a functional app within ChatGPT. And you can see within each of these folders, there are multiple files. Now, don't get overwhelmed, okay? You don't need to know what each of these files are to begin building apps for ChatGPT because AI has prompts that we can use. The first thing you're probably thinking is, what does this Riddler project look like? We're going to hop over here onto the right-hand side and talk to the agent. If you don't see it, look at the top where it says toggle agent. See, now it's off and now it's on. Let's select Gemini 3 Flash. The first thing that we want to do is launch this project locally, which means it's not on any server outside of your computer. It's local on your computer. And the reason we want to do that is because anytime we make a change, we can see it instantly. So if you ever heard of something like a local host 8000, local host, local port, this means that the project is running locally on your computer. It's free, and let's get into it. Since this is the first time that we're initializing this project, what the AI is doing now is going through all of the files and trying to understand the composition of the files and how they all work together. One of the interesting things about Anti-Gravity is that every time it does a task, it adds it here into this tab called Tasks. And so you can see how the AI is going task by task, and this will fill up very quickly as we start to make modifications to this project. Great. It says the project is now running locally on port 8000. One of the things that people have trouble on is understanding, okay, well, how do I see my project? Well, you need to prompt the correct URL. And this is something that I learned through trial and error. You need to tell it, give me the exact HTML link to test this widget. There we go. Okay, let's give that a click. We've launched on localhost, and yet we see a white screen. One of the things that all of us need to be accepting of is there are going to be issues when we're building these apps. We need to have the mindset of being an investigator that's trying to troubleshoot and fix issues with the help of our handy sidekick, the AI. Let's go ahead and talk to the AI in this case and say, I've clicked on the HTML link, yet the entire screen is white. Make sure that you are using the .js and the .css file to build the .html file and properly render it. Then relaunch port 8000 with the updated HTML file. I've seen this error before, and so I happen to know that it's because the project wasn't run and wasn't built. This prompt should fix the white screen. Let's give it a try and see if it fixes it. One of the things I suggest for you if you're just getting started is reading through the thoughts. I've really learned a lot over the last year just by reading through the way that these AIs think. And it's really important to get into the habit of the thoughts because some of the thoughts that they have are really way off and just don't make logical sense at all, even to someone who's not a developer. And so reading through the thoughts will be helpful to learn, but also to catch errors. We see now that the changes have been made and the AI is now trying to relaunch on port 8000. The way you know that is because you see the word kill, and that means it's restarting. We see I have fixed the issue. All right, let's click and double check. There you go. We just refresh the screen and here you can see our Riddler puzzle game. The puzzle game is really simple. I have 10 riddles here. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? That's a good question. I don't know. Let's try a whisper. All right, well, look, this is the app. We can move on to the next riddle and give that one a try. Maybe I will have better luck. The more you take, the more you leave behind. I know this one. Footsteps. Great. Or you can create your own riddle. So you can go in, create a category. Let's do math. Skill level medium language. We have English and Spanish here. What month of the year has 28 days? Now I know this one because I got it wrong yesterday. Every month of the year has 28 days. That's right. Let's go ahead and start to make some modifications so that you understand the process of modifying this project. Now you can see that my screen here is actually about half the size of my desktop. This is on purpose because when you put this inside of ChatGPT, it will be in an iframe, and the iframe is a pretty narrow amount of space. If you're building a project that looks good on a full desktop width, it's not going to look good. It might not even fit at all within the iframe of ChatGPT. As you're building these apps, keep your web browser at half width. This will help you understand how much space you really have within ChatGPT. You see here, let's go back to anti-gravity. You see this button here, reject or accept. Let's accept the changes because they obviously worked. But now let's get into actually making some changes via prompts. Let's say that you wanted to do something simple and just change the color scheme. Change the color scheme to something with blue and gold. I also want you to change the logo. Do not change any functionality of the app, only adjust the look. I can't mention how important it is to tell the AI what not to change. It's just as important as telling it what to change. The reason for this is because the AIs, they are getting better, but they still take enormous amounts of liberty that are unwarranted. And sometimes a small change in your mind will actually break something of the functionality of the app. And so I try to, as often as possible, as often as I remember, always include a what not to change almost with every prompt. Let's go ahead and wait for these changes. Okay, great. What we see here is the AI saying they've updated the Riddler with premium blue and gold color scheme. In order to see this, let's refresh the page. There you go. It's made a different color. It's made a new logo. Let's try a change that's a little bit more difficult. Right now, you can see that the riddle is 1 out of 10. Let's try to increase the game length from 10 riddles to 15 riddles and make sure that the 5 extra riddles you are adding are really difficult. So there you go. I've increased the game length to 15. Let's hit refresh. There we go. We see it increase to 15. From here, you have a lot of leeway. What I suggest you do now is play around, start with basic things like adjusting the color, adjusting the fonts, adjusting the logos, and then try to go in and make some more complicated changes. For example, maybe you want to add a leaderboard. Maybe you have some other ideas of what would make this app more fun. Maybe you want to add some daily streak logic. Maybe you want to add a share button. You can really do anything that's on your mind. I suggest that you try everything and then see what the AI is good at and what the AI is not good at. The only way that you're going to get better is by breaking things, pushing your limits, pushing the limits of the AI, and seeing what it is capable and what it isn't capable of. We'll end the video here. What we've successfully done today is we've cloned a project off of GitHub. We've launched it locally on our IDE. We launched it locally on port 8000. We made some small modifications. And the next step will actually be adding this, seeing it live on ChatGPT. Stay tuned. We're going to have the next video very shortly. We're going to be posting more videos of the following steps very soon. If you want to see the following videos, make sure to give us a like because then you'll know when the new videos are live. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.